£1 million from this new hype. What's the hype? NFTs. But they want to make $2 million. Now, first of all, who do you bring on board? What do you pay them, and how do you pay them? So, Alex, tell us when you're set up, so we can hand over back to you.
I'm putting this thing back on live. It should be streaming. I'm just gonna copy this link and put it in the airtime thing, whatever it's called.
Because it's a good point, because even I get this same kind of thing, and you kind of ask yourself, what do you want out of this from the investor's point of view, and also the person that's actually going to be helping you with your project and setting up the project. Some people might say, well, I'll give you an NFT. Well, yeah, that NFT might be worth some money. On the open market, you might be able to resell it. But if that person is putting in like hours and hours and hours, then yeah, they probably will want 50% of that project, or at least a good percentage of that project. Interesting one. Come on, Alex, hurry up.
My thing died. I don't know. I'm just gonna.
We'll
I'm gonna just break it down the way I see it. Right? You come in here, and you're like, all right. So there's two ways you can come with this thought process of building one of these projects. Either you're going to develop a team, and there's going to be a equal, fair split of. You're basically asking these teams of people to work for pretty much free, and it's called front run, and they're going to create this project, and at the end of it, when the $2.6 million gets sold out, that group of people splits that in a percentage agreed upon. So it could be a 20% split between 5 parties or whatever, right? So it has to be worth the while of the people who are getting involved in order to even participate. So at what point, like, do you designate the different teams of people? I wish that this stream was going, because I could map out all these different things. I've already done this several times, but to show you guys what the key pieces are when you're doing this, it just makes too much sense. I don't know why or what computer I'm on. I'm trying to, oh, that's why I'm on the wrong computer. I'm trying to use the keyboard. I'm tapping away and it's not working. So let me just go back to airtime, get this right. It's live. I got too many things going on, but
because there's so many aspects, Alex. Yeah, there's what do you split, how much do you get, and actually how do you actually make sure that everybody is getting that fair split into a wallet, using split wallets, using one combined wallet, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, let me just go back to the NFT tips. Here we go. I'm going back live. I'm gonna hit the right keyboard now, because I know which keyboard to use, because I was in the wrong one. Hit enter, share this. I'm going live, present on stage, so if they want to watch and follow along, they can listen and watch. I'm just gonna pause the audio so I don't hear it, because that's gonna drive me nuts hearing an echo. All right, we're done. Next, I am going to the mural board. Let's close that. Let's close this Discord. I'm going to show you, I'm going to erase this Discord, because if you have more than 100 Discords, you're not going to be able to even follow all these other ones. I'm going to go into the master board, and we're going to map out what a generative art project looks like from the point of view of the back end, okay? So let's do this together, so it's not just me doing all the work. But let's start right here. It's a good place. As soon as this is done loading, for the people who haven't been here from the beginning, I'm on YouTube Live. I'm sharing everything live, so you guys can come and check this out. And we're also streaming it directly to airtime, so if you guys want to follow along right there, you can see that as well. All right, so we got my tools back up. I'm gonna come in here, and we're gonna put in big letters. I like working in big letters. Let's zoom in a little bit. We're gonna call this Gen Art Project, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the questions that he had, which is obviously going back to your point we're going to go to now, is so £150,000 to invest, right? I want to make £2 million. How many bits of art do I need to do?
You're in the matrix, Mr. C.
Right. And the point is that I need to do a generating project. One of the things called art is, do I do, how many pieces of art do I need to do?
All right, hold on. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right. I got you. but there's a few questions that need to be answered before you even go in here. Is the kid here? I think his name was Paul. Are you still here?
Yeah, yeah, I watching your stream. Yeah.
Okay. So who's on your team?
In my team, 22 designers, and we already 5 years create the art project for this new technology like AR and VR.
So AR and VR and all that stuff, right? The designers are AR and VR.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have graphic designers?
Yeah, we have 3D designers, animation designers, graphics designers. We have CTO in our team. We have art manager in our team. We have researcher in our team. We connect with some university for research. We lead the students in British University of Design and Art, and in next year we connect with Florence Academy of Art, where we tell about how create AR project for art.
Okay. Are these people getting paid?
We don't have burnout. We work like in film industry. When we have a project, we attract people in this project. We make negotiating about money, and we make this project. We don't have burnout.
So no money.
We paid for every artist some fixed money inside the project.
So you paid a fixed price.
Not per month. Yeah, we paid them for some stage of project.
So the $150,000 is separate from what you currently paid the artist. Yes or no?
It is money for paid the artist.
The 150,000 is to pay the artist, or is that an additional to?
That's the budget. That's the
Yes,
budget.
yes, to artists and programmers. We have also programmers, and they are create interactive part of this art project where you inside the AR glasses can make your journey.
Okay.
So the best way to explain it is the 150K is the budget for the whole project. Essentially, whatever you pay out of that for artists or whatever design you need needs to come out of that 150K. Is that correct, Paul?
Yes.
Okay. So we got 22 designers. Is that including the programmers, or the programmers is a different number?
Yes, in 22 it is includes the designers, graphics artists, sound designers, CTO, programmers. It is our team, all our team, 22 people.
Okay. So.
But that question, yeah, you do not need to use all of those people, but you have those people at your disposal. Is that correct?
No, all these people we want to attract at this project. We don't have some participants who not do anything.
All right. So I'm watching the wrong thing here. Let me eject this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm doing like a lot of things at the same time. Present on stage. All right. So that's now. I just gotta mute this one. Otherwise, that'll drive me nuts. All right. So you got 22 people on your team. Do you have a social media person?
Yes, we have our podcast about design where we speak with great people inside the industry. We have our blog post in the Medium where we describe our thoughts and describe why we making this decision for designs. And we have channel inside Telegram where we with our students speak about designs for XR and I think and Twitter.
So you have a social media department. Do you have a Discord moderators?
And we don't have Discord. I understand now it is very important things. Yeah,
So Alexander, I'd ask you in a different way, yeah? Rather than ask Paul those questions, I would say to you, right, based on the fact that we know that Paul's got £150,000 in the budget, right? We know his end goal is to make £2 million. What does that project team look like?
That's what I wanted to find out what he currently had, and then I wanted to poke all the holes in it, right? So he currently doesn't have a Twitter. Do you have a Twitter person?
yeah, I have person Twitter.
Okay, so you got a Twitter person, right? So that's good. Now, are you consistently running rooms in Clubhouse, Twitter Spaces, or any other types of places like Clubhouse?
No, I don't do this right now, but we already have two participants who lead communication part of our project because I have some queries in it.
So, so the people that you have in the developers, are they Solidity coders?
Can you repeat maybe a phrase? I don't understand.
Are your programmers sufficient in Solidity?
So let me explain that in a different way. Solidity is the program language that people create their own individual smart contracts for the blockchain and minting. Yeah. So you may not have that speciality within the group. So that's why Alex is asking you, do you have Solidity programmers on your team?
If I understand correct, I have programmers which connect to NFT technology and understand in this technology. Yeah, we have one man who already make a successful NFT cycle of selling art, and they connect. He connect us to this technology, but now it is all in first stage. I just new in this environment, and that's why I ask maybe some based question.
Okay, so now that we have an idea of what you currently have, right? So in most project teams, you're gonna have the person or group of people who design the artwork and library, right? So I'm gonna just write this down so I don't forget. Design the library, and you're probably thinking, what the hell does that mean? So in the Bored Ape Yacht Club, I basically stripped out all of the different assets and made a whole little thing. Um, so you have the backgrounds, and there was like, let's say 8 different backgrounds. Then you have the silhouette of the asset, which was in an ape. Then each ape has a different skin tone or skin texture. And then they have different eyes. Then there's a whole group of different mouths. Then there's earrings, there's hats, and then there's outfits. And a combination of all those is what's required, which is equal to 176 different assets. So 176 different actual assets have to be created, and the computer is then generating that when the minting is happening. So you'd first have to create an idea. So if you want to make $2 million, the first thing would be, how do you identify when you're making that $2 million? Are you making that money just from sales, or is that including commissions?
I don't know this right now.
Okay, good question, Alex. So let me put that in a different way as well. Apart from commissions, what is the lifetime of that profit needed to be made? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? Is it the lifetime of that project? Because you can make £2 million in 2 weeks, 6 months, a year, 2 years. You got royalties, royalties upon royalties. So what's in your head? When do you want to make that money as part of that project?
We think about 21 months. we're preparing our project for next year clients, and every 3 months we want to make one chapter of our story and produce new art for this chapter every 3 months.
Is there a current roadmap?
Yeah, of course, we have a roadmap, but and now we make our site for this project where this roadmap will be live.
Okay. All right. So if you're looking to make $2 million, let's do the math. I don't have a calculator here. I don't even know what ETH is right now. Let's go see what it is. I'm gonna go and use my little tool over here, and I put in ETH to USD, and I'm gonna put in $2 million. How many zeros does that need? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's $2 million. So you want to make approximately 695 ETH, right?
Can you maybe rephrase? I don't currently understand.
I don't think he said he wants to make 2 million ETH. He wants to make
No,
let's say
no.
£2 million.
I don't know what pounds is, so let's go to pounds. I don't know what pounds are worth.
Sorry, dollars. Just do it in dollars.
Yeah, I did it in dollars. It's 695 ETH is equal to the number in dollars, right? So
Yeah.
how many assets do you need to sell at what price to get to that level? That's what you're asking, right? So
Yeah.
so if you do 6, let's do 96 divided by 0.08, you'd have to have 8,700 items at that price to be able to make $2 million. Point zero.
Nice.
Now, if you do let's try to do this. Let's say you want to do 10,000 assets, and you want to sell them for 0.06. That's 600. So you're shy by a little bit. So, what was the number? 10,000 times, what was it? 0.06. Let's do 0.065. That's 650. You're still short a little bit. So let's do 0.07. So 10,000 times 0.07 is equal to 700 ETH. So if you, and that's a reasonable thing. What was that? 0.07. 0.07, if we go back to the other one, is going to give us a number. So 0.07 is about $200 USD is what each asset would cost at 10,000 units.
Cool.
Okay? So you would have to sell it 10,000 NFTs for 0.07 ETH.
But that's not taken into consideration. That's based on if you wanted to sell those amount of items and get that money all at one go. But don't forget, your roadmap might be the fact that you're going to release 10,000 to start off with, and your storyline or roadmap might introduce other characters which people might want to buy as part of your project going on. And also you've got the fact that you might have secondary sales which you might get royalties from. So that you need to consider as well, which will probably be part of your profit, which is why I was saying over what time frame, so they can establish, right, is it a one-off, right, you need to do 10,000 characters, and those 10,000 characters, if they're all sold, you're going to make your 2 million, versus, right, you make it 2 million, if you sell 50% of those characters, then the rest is going to be pre-sale, and then the rest will be your roadmap.
All right, so let me ask you this. How many people do you think you need in your container to sell 10,000 units?
How many people in container of audience or inside the team?
No, of buyers. How many buyers do you think you need that are going to be able to buy 10,000 assets?
Okay. Okay, just what I think. Maybe 40K. It's my just imagine. I don't.
40? You said 40,000, 40K?
Yeah.
How the hell are you gonna have 40,000 buyers if you only have 10,000 assets? Come on, do the math.
Okay. Let's think. Half million.
No. Let me rephrase it, right? I'm gonna do it in a different way. If you got 40,000 people in your Discord, yeah, then you might possibly get 10,000 people out of your Discord that are hype enough, right, to go and buy your project. But to Alex's point, if you've only got 10,000 unique offerings, then you don't. Those 40,000 people are not gonna get that offering, right? So let's not confuse the situation here.
Well, my point is you might only need 2,000 buyers to sell 10,000 assets.
Wow.
What do you mean, whoa?
Very.
Let me ask you this: is it possible?
You showed me amazing things. Thank you.
Hold on. If you really say thank you, you're gonna say thank you by sending me ETH. You're just saying words right now. But listen.
Yeah, we've just give you whole consultancy in the less than 30 minutes.
Yeah, I usually charge thousands of dollars to do what I'm doing for you. But I like you because you're from England.
We can continue discuss this because you are amazing, and we can think about this further.
All right, hold on. Let me ask you this: is it possible that one person can buy more than one asset from you?
Yeah, of course.
So what do you think the most amount of assets somebody's going to want from your collection of 10,000?
I think five unique assets because every assets what we want to produce in this project it's some sort of part of storytelling like Magic Apple or Firebird and different skins for Firebirds or jewelry for Firebird or magical window portal and different details for this window. And inside this story we have this magical object, and I think for me every this object they have unique story background, and I if I look at this object inside the story I want have part of this each object.
All right. So, is it possible somebody's going to want 100 of these things?
Maybe if they have some smart economical model for this, because I don't know all these models, and I don't know do they see the in this. But if this economical strategy makes some assets for one person, like 10,000 assets, we can find the solution to make them, because inside our project we have space for some interesting idea where we can connect neural interface, artificial intelligence. We use these technologies. We know how connect to make some text story for 3D models for some collection, not for all collection of objects, but for some collection. It is interesting solution. For example, I can tell you about our machine learning, which generate silhouettes and symbols and produce them, project them on real walls around you, and it is all symbols. It is art, ancient, interesting symbols, and these things we want generate.
Okay. So, Well, I'm going to show you. You're still watching the screen. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, so you can have an understanding. Because it's kind of like interesting that you do your math the way you do. Let's go to the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I'm going to click on the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I'm going to click on one of these assets, and I'm going to show you the contract behind these assets. So these assets, the floor right now is 39 ETH, which is currently 111 or $112,000 if you want to sell one of these things right now. Okay? Now, one of the things that you need to look at is this area right here. Once it loads, you hit this button and it brings you to the contract address. You're going to go over here to the Bored Ape Yacht Club token, and we're going to look at the holders. Where it says holders. Then I go into this little area where it shows me the top 100 and 500 people I want to see. So I'm going to make this full screen so you guys can see. And the top holder owns 105 assets. They own 105 Bored Apes. The guy underneath him owns 103. The guy below him is 101, then 75, then 74, then 70, then 59, 49, 41, 40, 38, 34, 32, 31, 31, 30. And it goes all the way down to 500. He owns 3 apes. You understand? You following me?
Yeah, look at your streaming. Very interesting. I look at this report one more time after, but if I understand correctly now, you showed me one people can buy many things, and they when they make this, it is one of point for other. It is interesting. Deal, and let's participate in these deals, and these metrics important also. Do I understand correct?
Yeah. Right here. Total token holders. Is that 40,000? Is that a half a million? No, it's 5,515 people own Bored Apes. That's it. 5,515. Okay? So what that means is the amount of qualified buyers that you need to find is less than the number 10,000. You can't have more buyers than assets. You understand?
If I understand you, I need more or less people to reach my goal. Do I understand correct?
No. If I have 2 cookies and there's 3 people and everybody gets a cookie, how many people get a cookie?
Oh man, I think you're amazing, but I think my just language borders make a misunderstanding. Sorry for
No. You got 2 cookies and 3 people.
Yeah.
And you can only get 1 whole cookie. How many people get a cookie?
2.
Okay, so how can you have more people buying if there's only 2 cookies? You understand? So you're going to only be able to have 10,000 holders of this token unless you plan on making more assets down the road. Are you?
Thank you for sharing on video, because I discuss all you said with my mathematical partners, because I am the artist. I like a film director on our project. I think how it can be look and feel, and numbers not my power path. But all you said, we discussed and discuss with you also after, because it is very interesting, and it's very cool. You understand the right question, and it will be amazing discuss with you all these numbers after in some continuous way. You can I write you some message send a message. Let's be in touch, you and my friend.
Awesome. I'm glad you could help. But I want everybody to understand that there's a lot more understanding that has to go into place. You have to ask a lot of different questions in order for you to get to the root of what the thing is. So if you understand that you really only need a maximum of 10,000 people to support your project, and it could be as low as 2,000 people, because we've seen projects sell out with only 2,000 buyers. What do you need to do? How do you have to set the mousetrap to get 2,000 rats or 10,000 mice, right? So some of the rats, they like to eat a lot. They're going to eat 5 or 6 cookies each, where a mouse is only going to want to get 1 or 2. So depending on the quality of the people who you're looking to attract into your project, if there are people who are going to buy because they believe in the project and they want to help support you by buying a grouping, are they speculating on it? Are they going to make money because there's value that you guys showed from your roadmap that makes people go, oh my God, I need to buy all these? Like think about if you knew what you knew now about the Bored Ape project in March, how many Bored Apes would you have bought?
10.
Yo, I would have sold my car and my dog and everything else, and I would have put all my money into the stupid apes if I knew that, right? But we didn't know. We didn't know.
But you know what, Alex? The point is a very good point. But also, let's bring everybody back to reality. Not everything is going to be aboard apes, which is why Alex was going over the research that you need to do before jumping into any of these projects. Otherwise, you get into that hype, trying to jump from one place to another to get this information.
Yeah, and the Bored Apes project is a one of a kind, and there is a high possibility that they were using their own money in multiple wallets to move markets to create extra hype because people are seeing sales all over the place. I don't know the answer.
But Alex, just pause for 1 second.
Go ahead.
Let's use that Bored Apes as a use case, right? What do you think made that Bored Apes project so successful? One of the things that I would say,
All right, it's the Vegas
it
effect.
allowed people to recreate their own image. So, what do you think?
Do you know the thing that I think is called the Vegas effect? Okay, and the Vegas effect is when a little bit of people actually got a little bit of money. And when those people got money and they saw that it was like, oh my God, and then it went up, they FOMO'd even harder because they made a little bit of money. And dude, I had people who text me in the last 3 days saying that they sold their Bored Ape for 40 ETH, and now that they just found out that they're doing a New York event and they wanted me to know if I was behind it. And I'm like, dude, I have nothing to do with that. But they are mad that they sold their asset for almost a 4,000 or 5, I don't even know how many 1,000% return. And that now, because that becomes the access key to open up a door, they're now mad that they made $111,000. Okay? But that was built because the community is strong behind that project, because people were watching the money being moved around, and some people got to taste that money. If you're selling your Bored Ape right now and making $100,000, that's enough to change your life, where you could either buy your house, or you can, pay off a car, or pay off all your credit cards, or do different things. Like, that's life-changing money for some people. So I think once you understand and identify projects that moved the money wallet in people's possessions of these assets, and they were able to sell it and make money, they feel really good about it, but then they FOMO even harder and want to push to get more of those assets. One of the big things that I believe that made the Bored Ape project move is a collector named Pranksky had 1,200 apes. And he made $7 million approximately on the sale of those apes. And he immediately started selling them 1 hour after he minted his last ape. So when you have whales that have a massive following and they put their money where their mouth is and they invest, like, I don't know, I think it was probably close to like $150,000 is what he had to put up as his collateral to get those assets, so he can even achieve the ability to win and make that money that he made.
Okay, so was that an example of putting up the floor?
No, he was minting it. He minted the project when nobody wanted it, and it was because of him that made it sell out, and everybody wanted it after him. But nobody was.
Okay, so he bought into the project. Great.
That's actually how I found the project, because I was on Dune Analytics and I saw them going into a wallet that he owns
Correct.
in large amounts. Yeah, very very quickly. Yeah.
So he was probably using some sort of script or bot or technique that he was minting an obscene amount of number in a time frame that was unhumanly possible. So I don't know what he was using or how he did
Yeah,
it.
I think they use multiple wallets to acquire, and then they aggregate them all into one, usually. But they use scripts for sure. Yeah.
Right. So when you start looking at that, if you don't have that protocol in your wallet, how like the Bored Apes had a mint, and I believe it took several days for it to sell out. So there was a whole period of time.
Didn't it?
I don't know exactly because I was
Because they started minting in April and it finished sometime in May. I don't know the exact dates.
March.
It took a while.
I got mine in March, 4 months ago.
Okay. Yeah. It finished the first week of May. I found out about it in April.
So
That's
so
about right. It was like 5 weeks or 6 weeks.
so what I'm saying is this project had a late start. It didn't have an immediate 10,000 people sell it out. They built a Discord, they had a Twitter, they had a group of people who believed in the project, and allegedly the people who created this project were anonymous for the first portion of this project. Nobody even knew who these people were.
Yeah, and I think like right now in the market we have right now, there's two ways, right? To like market a lot, right? Have 30,000 people on your Discord, some of which are either fake or people like grow organically. I mean, I don't know if you saw what happened to the Stone Age Saturn Club yesterday, right? But you know, they had to take their minting contract down. They resumed it, and it went parabolic. I mean, it went straight up to almost point 0.5, I think. And it's a much smaller mint, maybe related to Bored Ape in a way. I wouldn't even say it's really a derivative. They may have used some of the tactics, but their Discord's only like, it was 500 people, now it's 1,500, and it sold out, but half of it sold out yesterday. The other half was minting for like 3 weeks and then shut down for a week, right? So.
Right. So some of these projects that we follow don't necessarily have the actual things set up right out the gate, right? They kind of learn as they go. Now, if you look, I can show you where I'm finding this information. I go, this is how my brain works. I'm always trying to take apart everything. So if you guys see how I'm taking it apart, you're going to be like, okay, cool. I can now look at it myself. We're going to go to the Bored Ape Yacht Club on OpenSea. So the people who are in here that aren't following along, I'm doing a live stream on YouTube and on Airtime so you could see and follow along with me. I'm looking at the activity of the Bored Ape project. And I'm going to be looking at when the pump happened. There was several pumps that happened, and I thought that the pump was going to happen because of Christie's and Sotheby's, and I was off by about a few days.
Real quick, Alex, what's the best way to get the live stream? If I just go to nftt.tips show, it's not popping for me.
It's on my personal YouTube page.
Your personal.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you where I'm looking. Bored Ape Yacht Club, and then I'm gonna go to the Kennel Club. Okay, so the Kennel Club was the first airdrop that they gave to the people. So it's called the Bored Kennel.
I can't find it. Like, can you give us more detail? What's the link to it or something?
It's in the airdrop, the airtime channel. I put in the chat over there.
Did you follow nfts.tips on Airtime? If you don't already have Airtime, just go to airtime.com. It's in the Airtime app. You can see it.
All right, so I'm looking at these dogs. Okay, I'm gonna click on a dog, and I'm gonna go to the transaction period right here. So it was minted 3 months ago on this date. You ready? What date was that? come on, this stuff is so challenging to read. I'm just gonna go back because I think I saw it right here. June 24th. Okay? So let's go back to June, January, February, March, April, May, June. June is 6. What? All time. There we go. Is it sure? Am I sure it's that number? June. January, February, March, April, May, June. 6. $6.24. What day is this right here?
Hey, Alex, real quick. What's the relationship between the dogs and the apes? Real quick.
The dog was an airdrop to the people who had a ape at the time of the drop.
Thank you.
So the 24th is approximately right here. Can you guys see this? I don't know, maybe I could zoom in on the screen, but Control plus. The 24th was right here. Right here. This was the first real pump. This is the highest that it went, and it continued to be the line of resistance right here. Was this day, the 24th. Why? Because this is when they did the first airdrop. What was this day? This was August 27th. So let's go here. And we're going to go to the OpenSea. And we're going to discover this together. It's called the Chemical Club. I don't know what it's called. Let me just look up. I don't even know what this stuff is called anymore. Is it the... It's M2 serum. There we go. Alright, M2 serum. Hopefully this is the right one and not a fake one. Alright, so the Bored Ape Chemistry Club. Okay? So these 3 assets were also airdropped to people who owned a Bored Ape. And this was to mutate your ape to make a new ape, and you pay the mint fee, and it gives you access to mutate your ape, and now you have another asset. This is currently being sold at $26,530. Okay? So if we go to this date over here, underneath when it was minted, I want to see trading history. And we're going to go all the way down to when it was minted. This might take for a long time. Yeah, this might not be the best way to do this. I don't know. There might be a way to go and look at the contract to see when it was minted. Let's try that. This is going to take too long.
Just look at the first transaction. It's
let me try this.
on the contract page. I could even find it for you if you want to.
All right, let's show everybody where to find it. I'm in this. It's a ERC 1155. So is that an open contract or is that a? This sucks. 265 transactions. Oh, you know what the fastest way to do it? The M3, because there was less transactions with the M3. So we're gonna go to the M3 over here, and this is going to show us when that date was that this was decided to deploy. So when did it transfer? Minted on August 27th. Okay, what was this date over here? August 27th. So that was the day that this thing pumped. The day before they airdropped these mutating serums. Are you understanding? I need feedback. I live off of feedback. Are you guys paying attention? You learning anything? What we got?
Yeah, very interesting. Thank you.
Alright, so here was the biggest challenge when we got these airdrops. Do I sell the assets of the mutant serum, or do we have? Do we sell it or do we use it to mint an aboard mutant ape? Where is this? One second, guys. Sorry.
Hello, Alex. I'm listening, and I think I don't know, but if you have more than one ape, I would suggest with one minting the zombie ape or what it is, and the other sell immediately. But it's interesting. I'm curious if you guys think if it's sort of like manipulated or what. This collection, I don't know. I'm just listening. Yeah.
I don't know if it's manipulated or not. I'm just sharing my research and how I identify information. So if you go to buy now and you go to low to high, the lowest available to buy, we have to go where these are pinks, these are bids. So that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for actual purchases. Let's see, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Right here, 4.75 ETH. So if I click on this ape, this is worth $13,697. Okay, let's go to the properties. This is an M1, so they had to use a test tube in order to make this. The test tube is worth 4.2 ETH. So this is $12,111.67, and this is able to be sold now for 13,697. So if I had an ape and I had a test tube, I could potentially use the test tube and have an increase in profit because the test tube is worth less than the asset that I would receive after I minted it. You follow me?
Yes, but I thought you were getting these for free as a owner.
No, you got the mutant serum for free. You did not get the mutant. You had to use this asset in order for you to make the mutants. So as a mutant, as an ape holder, you had to make a difficult decision because when they dropped it to you on this date, the price of these apes, of this asset was $30,000, and nobody understood what they were. So people were selling these for $30,000, and they were buying mutants on the floor for less than what they could. Like the difference in price was a big enough difference to make the sense for people to sell the serum and buy mutants on the floor.
I see. I've heard someone making pretty good money with selling the serum, but I think the prices changed a lot since then.
Well, the price dropped. Look at where it went. It went from the first day when they dropped it on the 28th to like almost nothing. So the hype when all the action happened was on this day, the 28th, the day that they were dropped and airdropped to people. After that, it dropped significantly. It went from 598 sales down to 148, down to 46, down to 49, down to 32. So if you weren't paying attention, I was watching a movie with my wife when I got these airdrops, and I looked at my wallet, and they airdropped me these assets, and I didn't know what to do. And it was like 11:45, midnight. I get on the phone, I call some people, I said, dude, what is this stuff? And nobody knew what it was. And it was like a struggle to try to figure it out. It was a race. And if I was like, yo, I didn't care, I could have just liquidated these two assets and they would have been able to give me the ability to buy another ape. But I didn't because I didn't understand. But I'm sharing to you the reason why these people are so loyal to this project is because people are either selling their apes that were mutants that were handed to them for free for approximately $14,000, or they were able to sell this test tube for some serious bank, right? Now look at this. The dog is worth at the baseline, let's see what it is today. So these dogs, buy now, are 3.35 ETH. So every ape holder basically got sent $10,000 in their wallet for free. So why wouldn't you want to support this project? They just gave you all this value because there was a community built around it and there was enough people that were getting in line that wanted to support this project because now it's cool, because the world says it's cool. And these are the things that you need to take into account when you're creating these projects, and understand that it's not just the artwork, it's not just a few contracts, it's not a Discord, it's actually delivering true real value and getting people excited behind it to support it. And like, this was the key indicator for me. Somebody brought this to my attention. He said, how many people have a Bored Ape tattoo? I don't know if there's a way to find an actual number, but when you have people tattooing this asset to their body because they're that loyal, that's a huge key indicator that they got something here.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Euphoria.
I wanted to know, so there's just been so much amazing knowledge going on from this conversation today. And I wanted to know if you could just touch on, for those of us who have like investor fee platforms and very small, groups of people who are building, 10 and under, there's obviously limited resources. I wanted to know if you could touch on, starting the social piece from scratch. What would you do, kind of starting from 0 to X amount of followers? Like, as far as like, I would, I'd build this piece first. I was just wondering if you can kind of just give like a overview of like how you would approach this to, like kind of a, I guess, bootstrap way.
Okay, I never start from 0. I always start from models that are successful, and I understand, like, I backwards engineer everything that I do. So my first question to you is, who is doing what you want the best?
Oh, you mean literally? Well, I mean, I would say the one that seems to be most successful, obviously, is crypto voxels and Decentraland.
Okay, so let's do this. This is how my brain works. I don't know the answers. I discover them with you. We're gonna go in here and go to crypto voxels. You said, right? Crypto voxels. Let's see what their Discord looks like. Let's see how hard it is to find their Discord. Let's see that. Oh, it's right here. Let's click this button. Let's jump in here. Let's see how many people they got. 6,660 members. So we're gonna join this, and right after that I'm gonna go and show you this, because this is how I vet every project. I go into OpenSea, and now we're gonna go in here and hit crypto voxels. And now we got 5,700 items. It seems really, really low. But anyway, we're gonna go in here and I'm gonna click on details, and I'm going to hit this contract code. Then I'm gonna hit the parcels, and I'm going to look at this number right here, holders. There's only 1,500 holders of CryptoVoxel users. Who's number one? 100.
That's less than I thought.
All this shit's less than you have. You ready for this? I'm going to show you this. This is what makes me believe that we're so far in the head of the rest of the world that nobody really understands what we're doing yet. Like, literally, watch this. This is going to blow your mind. Ready for this? POAP. These are things that you get for free. Okay? You don't even have to buy them. We're going to click on this guy right here. I'm going to click on this contract code right here. Go in here, hit this button right here. Let's see how many people own POAPs. Oh, it's a public address. Hold on, I might have clicked the wrong button. Hold on. Here they are, holders. There's only 17,902 holders. The first person that's not a robot on this list only owns 82 POAPs. I know for a fact that Joseph, that's been in this room since the beginning, is got like 50 of them or something. He should be over here somewhere. I don't know what his address is, but he's one of the top holders. So let's go to the chart because I love this little functionality. I go to the top 500. Let's go to the last person in this list. How many POAPs do you think the number 500 token holder has? How many? Give me a guess.
10.
6.
And that's the proof of attendance, right? That's the badge that you get.
Correct.
Yeah.
But this is free.
Right.
So you're going to tell me if there's billions of people in this world and number 500 only has 6 POAPs? Dude, we're so far ahead of the curve. We got a lot of work to do.
Right. That makes sense. But you have to start with the whole social piece of it. When I mean starting from ground zero, I hate the whole social piece of it. It doesn't come naturally. I love building, so it's really hard to get into this. But you have to master it, right? So that's why I'm forcing myself. But would you how would you you have to link everything together and everything like that? But what do you think would be you were talking about the flow. Would you record first and your Twitter, or what would be your ideal flow?
Well, I'm showing you what I see, right? So you told me that CryptoVoxels did it the best, right? So let's go look at what they did for their structure. So they have rules. Here's the rules. Please read the rules. It's a little link. Then they got admins. You have to be an admin to see that. Then you got community guidelines. This is their community guidelines. Here's their announcements page. So anything that's relevant to this is your announcements. Then you got general. Then you got welcome. Then you got scripting, bugs, tutorials, play, AI, ideas, random, virtual reality, new islands, open forum, economics, temp testing, voice chat. Then it goes into events, has a list, has trading activities, a list, building, a list, islands, a list, and it just keeps going on and on and on. Origin city, a whole list, development, a whole list, content, a whole list, languages, so they're penetrating multiple different language barriers, and then voice channels, right? This is where I think you should be looking. On this side, where all these people are so interested in CryptoVoxels. So if this is your users, and they already isolated themselves. They're already here. All you got to do is just right click, send them a message. Hey, what's going on? It's awesome to see that you're in the CryptoVoxels thing. Just out of curiosity, what did you learn playing in the CryptoVoxel space for this long? And then they're going to go, oh, I learned about this, blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to go, hey, I'm actually interested in, finding out what your participation is in the thing. And then they want to ask you questions like, well, what are you doing and why are you in this space? And then you're going to be like, well, I'm interested in sharing this blah, 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 blah. And I want to, see if you guys are interested in helping me build this. And then all of a sudden, one by one, if you spent an hour a day and you had 600 or 1,000 people that you can go through this list, how far could you go if every single person that you knew wanted CryptoVoxels now wants your project?
Okay, I hear you. So you're saying start with Discord. Discord's your epicenter of everything that you need to start out with.
Yeah, trust me, it takes a lot it takes a lot of bandwidth in your brain to look at this. It's just so much. I'm not into memes. I'm not into reading. I don't want to sit here and do this, but if you have questions, this is where it's getting answered. If you got a community announcement, this is where it's happening. So people come in here, and I guess it's like a newspaper, and you could only have 100 Discords. So they have all these different Discords, and I recommend when you sign up for Discord, you click on this button, you hit the notification bell, and then you hit nothing. Because if not, once you start getting into these things, all you're going to hear all day long is ba-dink, 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 and you're just going to go, I can't take it anymore.
Great, got it.
Yeah.
Very helpful, thank you.
Yeah, so by looking at who you believe did what you did best gives you the format and the structure you need to build what you want. And do it in similar fashion. if you understand that the people that are into your project are in these 5 discords, and then you look at the structure of how those discords are built, for you not to build your discord and follow that guideline and framework is just making them have to work that much harder. If you
Okay,
do,
I totally get you.
yeah.
I got it. That makes sense. Yeah, you just basically like rebuild the building exactly how it's done, so you're not reinventing the wheel. The roadmap's already here. The people are already here. Everything is literally in the Discord. Like this is a beautiful thing, and you didn't. I didn't really like think of it that way.
Dude, they did all the homework for you. And when I see do discourse trying to do different things, I'm like, where's the announcement channel? Like they don't have an announcement channel at the top. I get frustrated. I'm like, yo, these people are gonna fail, right? Like there's certain things that when I immediately see it, I shake my head and I go, all right, I'm moving on. This project's not for me because they didn't do their homework. They didn't do the key things that makes these projects easy for the people who are in this space to get into it. Some people are going to be, this is their first project, then maybe that's a different target demographic. But if you're attracting people who've already been in this NFT space, they already have an idea of how this stuff works, and you're just formatting it for it to be easy for them.
Can I ask one last question? If I wanted to stream like our whole build live on a regular basis, like as we're building out everything in 3D and Unreal, what would you recommend the channel? Like, would you recommend being on Twitch or doing like setting up a live stream channel or an airtime channel, just so we could like people could see what we're doing all the time?
So this is my second or third day doing this. I don't know the answer to that. I'm currently using YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, this new one called D Live, Twitter. I've streamed on Discord. I don't know what the answer is, but there are tools and ways to stream to multiple platforms at the same time. I don't know if it's going to be a success. I've tried to run rooms. I had 3 different phones. One was in Clubhouse, one was in Airtime, one was on Twitter Spaces, and I was holding a conversation with all 3 different people and groups. And they got so mad at me because the people on Twitter were trying to talk, and I had people in Clubhouse cutting them off, and nobody could identify who was talking because it was my voice that was blinking every time somebody made a sound.
Got it.
Yes.
If you were to rank the top 5 in order as far as social, as far as what you'd build out first down to the top 5, would you say Discord's number 1, Twitter's number 2, Clubhouse being number 3? Like, how would you rank it?
I think Twitter and Discord are equal. Without those two, you're destined to struggle and challenge yourself. Some of these people have like 1,000 links at the top, which makes it even more confusing. Some people use Telegram, which is a little bit more manageable, but it doesn't have the same functionality. And I believe that the projects that really do well are building way beyond one channel format on Telegram. There might be a Telegram element, but Discord and Twitter, I believe, are the kings of this space at this time.
Thank you so much. This has been very helpful the whole day. Thank you. Awesome.
You're welcome.
Can you give more in-depth study on what the Bored Apes is doing as an innovative? Because the serum and the way it came out and the way you explained it, as I don't know if you mentioned the Vegas effect. I'm not sure if it's connected to it, but is there any other innovations that they were trying to do in, I guess, the NFT space that you can share?
They're gonna basically create 3D avatars of both the mutants and the physical avatars, which is gonna give people the ability to walk around metaverses and be their ape. So that's next on their line. But I actually have a phone call. Ryan, can you run this room for a little bit? I'm gonna jump on a call.
I got you. I'll hold it down the best I can.
Thank you, sir.